Well, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and listening in from. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This is an episode I've actually been looking forward to. Our guest is an amazing person. I literally love having conversations with her. Though we've had very little conversation, she's actually very fun, and very cool as well. But yeah, welcome to another episode. I can't wait to introduce who we have today, but just a recap on, what we're doing this season and what we're talking about this season. This season, we're really focusing on businesses, Christian women in business, and building what lasts. What does it mean to actually build something that lasts? What does it mean to build intentionally? Intentionally, what does it mean to build with kingdom in mind? What does it mean to build in with, legacy in mind, with generations in mind? And our anchor scripture for, this season of the podcast is from Genesis chapter 1. And this is where, God created the earth. He created light, he created water, he created the firmament, he created land, he created the sea, he created man, he created everything. And then he said, be fruitful and multiply. Verse 10 of Genesis 1 says, let the earth bring forth grass, the herbs that yield seed, and the fruits that yields fruit according to its kind, whose seed is in itself on the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass. And then he said, the herbs yield seed according to its kind, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So in everything God built and has built till date, it was of its kind and could multiply or could, last generations. The light he created, our light has never gone out. Waters he has created, the waters, stay where they are. I mean, apart from like natural disasters and stuff. But like the waters do not exceed, the points that they are at, right? Since the earth was formed and created. So in the same way as Christians, as believers, how do we create with that creation mindset in our thoughts when creating? How do we create something that lasts? How do we create something that multiplies of itself? How do we create something that produces of its kind? And just generally thinking about longevity in mind. So today, our topic for today is legacy. Hopefully I don't change my mind when I actually post it. But right now, our title and topic in mind is legacy, and essentially just talking about how do you build legacy? How do you think about generational wealth, generational impact, generational stewardship? And the Bible is very clear with, what it says about legacy. In Proverbs chapter 13, it says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, but the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. Obviously, focus on the first part, that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children. So as believers, we should be leaving something behind. We should believe in something that impacts another generation and another generation. In Exodus chapter 20, God talks about the iniquities of the father being passed on to the third and fourth generation, but his mercies are to thousands and his love are to thousands for those who keep his commandments. So the same way iniquity can be passed on, God's love, God's mercy, God's blessings upon a generation can be passed on to the third and fourth generation. So without talking too much and saying everything that I've written down, I will introduce our lovely guest, Dolapo Morgan. Surname seems to change, but let's keep that aside. We have Dolapo joining us here today. She is a former consultant at Bain Co. She is currently a investment principal, a VC firm, and obviously she is the founder and owner and CEO and creative director of Refaini. Hi, Dolapo. Welcome.
Hi, sorry, Midaya. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to be here today.
Same,
Thank
same, same.
yeah.
How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of podcasts like
Hmm.
all the time. And so I guess when I'm asked to be on podcasts, it's almost like a privilege because I feel like podcasts have really helped me grow. And I feel like there's so much like wisdom out there in the world where you can get it from people that you don't have like direct reach to. And podcasts have been that for me. And so there's some people like they don't know me, but I know everything about how they've built. And I apply some of those lessons. And so yeah, very honored to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I guess in like 1 or 2 minutes, for people who do not know you, what is your story? Who are you? All of that good stuff.
I I feel like you just described sort of me in the like external sense
Exactly.
of things. But I think generally I'm actually just someone that genuinely tries to live a life that's pleasing unto God. I think I see it as a sense of responsibility and I
Mm.
see it as that's the best life I would ever live. And so for me, I guess every single thing sort of um is I'm trying my best to sort of do it according to his will. Obviously have fun with it. I guess, things I like. I like fashion. I like skincare. I like sleeping a lot. I like being on my bed a lot, just generally, as well. But I like seeing things start from like an idea and like bringing it to life as well. I really enjoy that process of seeing visions come to life. And yeah, I guess that's some
Wow.
other add-ons beyond what you've said.
Yeah, I actually like that. I like that you said that as well because even in my profile that I wrote for you, the first thing I actually wrote was a daughter of God.
Oh,
Because I think a lot of times, when you mention people's accolades and, things that they have done, you sort of remove that human
mhm.
aspect of to who they are. Like she's still just a girl. She's still
Literally
just,
just a girl.
somebody
Literally
that
just
goes
a
about
girl.
her day and has fun.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, she has these added on titles to her. But at the end of the day, she is a daughter of God. So I really love that you brought that up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My fiance is always saying that if people knew the real you, they'll know you're just a baby. Like beyond all these things, like you're just
Yeah.
a baby and you're just a girl that wants to be a baby girl.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
I really love that because even linking it to the podcast and stuff, yes, we are inviting people who have done amazing stuff and people who have businesses and people who are doing great things and will do great things. But at the end of the day, I think bringing back that relatability aspect, they are just children of God that
Mhm.
decided to step out in faith and start something, and God has backed it up. So yeah, I thank you for bringing in that aspect again, back to it. So we're gonna jump in and just have a very chilled conversation, honestly. Nothing too pressured, just two people having a conversation about God, really and truly. But yeah, to jump in, I think the first question I really want to ask is when you think about building with God, what does that look like to you?
So I guess a preface is I'm not prepared for this. So as you said, you wanted it to be more of a natural conversation. So I guess building with God. For me, it's sort of like my intro, right? It's sort of seeking God at every step of the way. Um, Building with faith,
Mm,
I would say is a big aspect of building with God. And sort of, I love this scripture, which I think I told you about it last time we spoke around just when God guides us on how to pray. And it says, Our
mm,
Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. And so that statement, thy kingdom come, I think that has been sort of my anchor generally, but like particularly this year, because for me it's just bringing sort of God's kingdom on earth is sort of how I see my life, and building with God is just partnering with him on that journey. So whether it's in the ideation phase, in the day-to-day phase, and when you're giving sort of big projects to do, just having faith that if he said it, he will do it.
Yeah.
And just yeah, every little, trust me, every little thing is how I see building with God, literally, like color, like every tiny sort of detail is how I see it, like almost building with, I guess, a best friend or a father or someone that's just
Yeah.
like constantly there. And knowing that like even though you're building with him, it doesn't mean it wouldn't be challenging. But
Mm.
it's the faith aspect of things. And so I would say faith is like a big aspect of building with God because
Yeah.
oftentimes he gives you what he gives you looks like more than you can handle, but it's never really more than you can handle. But then you get to know God in a different manner when it's something that was like it looked impossible and then it
Yep.
sort of became possible. And so for me, every time I get a sense of like some level of direction, it's always like I can't do it. Like my first thing is always like, bruh, or like, really, are you serious? Like at this
Yeah.
time. And I've never gotten an assignment that felt like, yes, as
I-
in, like, it has never been like, yeah, I have everything I need to do it ever, ever.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think that's why I want to emphasize faith. You
Mm.
don't see it, but you believe that it's true. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think I need to stop saying I think. But essentially, when I was, preparing this, the first, like if you read the first part of the Bible, the Old Testament, a lot of, building was about just generational impact in terms of material stuff. But when we go into the New Testament, I think there's a parable in Matthew 20 that talks about not storing up your legacy on this earth and storing up your treasures in heaven, right? So getting that nuance balance in terms of creating and having investments that your generation can physically gets on earth, but also investing in them in a way that they can tangibly gain something in heaven as well. But yeah, that was just a side note I wanted to add. But I think what you said about faith is very important to build with God. You literally just have to trust. Like, there's no other option. You can't, you're
I
not
feel
going
like
in
you're not
there.
ready. If you're not ready to have faith, you're not ready.
You're
You're
not.
actually not ready.
No,
So just pick
you're
up
not
faith.
ready.
Like you're not. It would never oftentimes make sense. Like it may make sense, but it sort of what I mean is it just looks big and like challenging and like bro, but then that's how you encounter God and then you
Mhm.
can speak of so many miracles.
Yeah,
And
and
in
you never
hindsight,
really,
yeah.
yeah, and you'll never really see like the end in mind. Like you
Mhm.
said, we were having a conversation, is it last week or a few weeks ago, about how things are changing and things are developing in terms of refining at the moment. But that was not like you didn't have that idea at the start. These are things that you are getting based on you walking with God and the vision developing with God. So faith is such a massive, aspect of building. And that is something that we cannot forget. If you want to build with God, like Dapa said, you actually just have to trust. And if you're not ready to trust, you're not ready. You're actually not ready for the journey. But yeah, thank you for that. I'll go on to my next question. What are some of the principles that you feel like has guided you? I mean, you've mentioned one, just continuing in on that, that have guided you in terms of building
Mhm.
something with God or just building something with legacy in mind, building something with impact in mind. I would say there was a definition I found actually about legacy that I want to read. Essentially, it talks about legacy being able to focus on something that would endure, something that has lasting value, something that involves intentionally building with longevity in mind. It also talks about legacy is, I mean, going back to the thing about the physical aspect, legacy is money, property, or impact handed down from a predecessor, an ancestor, to someone that results in as a result of their actions. And it broadly refers to anything that can be handed down. So this can be your reputation, it can be money, it can be property, it can be your name, etc. So going back to the question, what are biblical principles that have guided you and you think will guide you to be able to do what legacy is?
Yeah, I think obviously the first one I said, faith, is like honestly one of the biggest, but I think after that, the second biggest one, because faith is sort of, you know how we say motivation, I would say it's sort of a motivation to that will get you up to do it.
Hmm.
And the second one is sort of discipline. I think that's probably one of the most important ones and principles in just like seeing things come to is just being disciplined with it, as scripture says that you do things like you're doing it like an athlete, right? And so what does that look like? That means doing things consistently. It means
Mm.
gaining mastery, right? It means training, right? It means competition, right? It means it means dedication, right? When you think around athletes that run, right? People that are going to the Olympics, they're disciplined. They're
Yeah.
consistent. There's no way you're going to get better. They have to compete, right? They're going to a place to compete, right? They have to train themselves. They have to learn from experts how to get better at these things. They need to be self-reflective. What have I done bad or what am I doing good and how do I sort of view it? You see runners, they watch their videos when they're running and they sort of see, did they start like 1 second or even 0.1 seconds slower than the
Right.
rest, right? And so almost that level of like intentionality, I think is absolutely critical. No, not really trying to handle things in a very laissez-faire manner. I would say is sort of a critical aspect of, I would say, like building legacy. And I think that the third thing I would probably highlight is like integrity, right? So like
Mm.
having integrity because your name is basically a big part of what legacy is.
Right.
And people will speak about you indoors where you're not there or you're there, right? And so I think it's important to sort of build with that mindset and considering like whether it's how you treat people, right? You can say sorry when you treat people badly, right? Because you're not also perfect,
Mm.
right? And just caring about like that the way that integrity aspect of things, because that is what would last the test of time, right? When things are integral. So if you sent a bad product, right? Like for us, for example, we have a policy, a 1 year warranty policy, and it's not because my supplier gives me that, it's because my integrity is important, right? Can I build the way sort of a Chanel has built right now? No, I don't have the resources, I don't have the expertise yet. But what I can do is at least I can offer you some form of a warranty, right? At my own cost. And so we're just onboarding ourselves with another retailer, and I was like, yeah, we offer warranty. And she was so shocked because like she's like, no many like people are like, I've sold it, I'm not returning, I'm not no exchange. You always see that,
Mhm,
right? But
mhm.
for me, I guess for me it's really important. I just don't want and I guess you still have to do it with wisdom, right? Because some people
Yep.
do take a mile when you give them an inch, right? But for us, that's like at least a policy that we have. If anything is bad, we'll replace it, we'll refund you like at our cost, right? So like last year, I ordered a set of cuffs you may have seen online, and the whole batch was bad. Um, and we had sold it, right? And then two people had complained, and we were like, okay, we'll refund it, and everybody we've sold, contact them, and let's ask them to send it back, and then we'll refund them. And then we've sort of gone through a process of like then remaking it. So I think that level of integrity is really critical, because people feel like they can sort of trust the brand. I don't think we're 100% there yet, but just that consciousness, I think I've learned over the last, I guess, 3-ish, 4 years of running it, right? That like those sort of things matter. And so yeah, I would say in summary, like I said, faith, I think discipline and like integrity.
That's really good. I feel like you're touching on all the things that I was gonna say. So in my notes, I literally have legacy and integrity and legacy and traceability. And you've literally just touched on it. Like the benefits of your business being one that is known for integrity, but also one that is traceable. Like you said, you've been doing this for 3, 4, how many years now? And that integrity is something that is a core value that you have instilled in your business, or it's a core value you've instilled in your employees. It's a core value that people should and would know Refaini for. So yeah, even in business, it doesn't mean, okay, because you're in the secular world, whatever, you should lack integrity and, do things the way the world does things. we are still Christians in the world. We are believers in the world who are meant to shine a light. So there should be something that differentiates this business from other businesses. Why should I shop with you versus shopping with, I don't know any other brand. Why should I shop with you versus shopping with this other brand? Because this brand is known for integrity, and that is something that helps to build legacy. So yes, thank you so much for that. I have a fun question. If you were to be given £10,000, let's say, right now, what things would you put in place now that you've been almost 5 years into your business that you did not know before? So for someone who is starting a business, right, and I come to you, please give me advice, blah, blah, blah. You've been in this 4 or 5 years. What would you do? But you starting your business now, let's say you're starting a business in 2026, right?
Mm.
What would be something that you would do differently with the knowledge that you have now?
Okay, that's it. That feels like three questions in
I
one.
know.
I would sort of take it step by step. So you said the 10,000 pounds one, that's for someone that's starting their business, like sort of
Hmm.
if you're a product-based business, I would say investing in products, and you don't have to do like high sort of orders, but just like getting your product and testing your product with people, getting feedback and sort of iterating based on the feedback that you get. So I'll say
Hmm.
product is a big one. Obviously, with product comes packaging, etc. But I actually don't think, depending on the sort of brand you're building, packaging might not be the priority. But obviously, if you're building like a premium brand, then yeah, packaging is important. Um, I think another thing is, and I know people don't want to do this, but I think getting an assistant, honestly, or just some team member, and that is maybe not the first thing you do, but like maybe the third or something thing you do, right? Just getting someone that can, um, push things forward. If you're having 9 to 5, for example, if you
Yeah.
do it solo, then that's a little bit more debatable. But then if you're sort of trying to test it out with your 9 to 5, I would say just getting someone, um, 10,000 pounds, you can get people for it that would assist you for like 150,000 naira, right? Whether it's an internship or something. And so getting that level of assistance, because I think what you want to do immediately is take things to market and see reactions. And so you can
Right.
respond to reactions. And sometimes I know as Christians, you believe, oh, God said this, so I'm doing this and I'm never going to change it. But no, that could have been the first thing he said. But like the point is to go and get the feedback and
Hmm.
sort of iterate based on that. And so I would say getting some form of assistance so that you can get momentum quickly, so you
Hmm.
can get to market and get sort of an idea of what people are saying, and then obviously marketing. If you can try and make your marketing in-house, you may still need like a DGI or some form of thing that would like, depending on where you're positioning in the market, I would say sort of products, a level of assistance and marketing, I think are like, I would say the top three priorities in like your first 6 months so you can get like reactions and response. Because what you don't want is to be doing every single thing and then you're exhausted and you get tired and then you give up, right?
Yeah.
And so when you have somebody else that believes in you, right? So the assistant should believe in you. That helps, right? Because on difficult days they're like, "Hello, ma. Oh yeah, oh. Good morning, ma."
Yeah.
You need those people that will be like, and when you're paying them a salary, you also have that sense of responsibility of like
Mhm.
pushing things forward. And so I'd say those are like, I think the immediate sort of investments and then being quick to get feedback. So I think on your second question, which was like based on what I've learned, what would I do differently?
Yeah.
I think a couple of things I would do differently. I think I would be quick to iterate. So based on the feedback I get, I would be quick to iterate and I would order maybe less quantity in the initial part. Because when I first started, I was ordering from China and when they said 100 MOQ, I was like, okay, 100 MOQ. And my first order was like 1,100 pieces because I did 11 pieces, right? I wouldn't do that again because that's tying up cash, right? When
Hmm.
you don't have to, and then your inventory turnover days may take a while because you're just starting. You're not going to sell everything on the
Yeah.
first day. Especially when you're in Nigeria, if you're looking at US businesses, like you have to just be real with the market size. Nigerians don't have the same deeper pockets than like US or in the UK, and so it would take a slower time to sell those products at that price point, right? If you're thinking like sort of price points for like the upper class, it would take a while because you're the first person. They want to see it. They want to see like, oh, are other people using it? It's like
Using it.
Nigerians follow, right? They want to sort of see perception in the market. And so I would say I wouldn't tie up in the inventory so quickly. With my first order, I would sort of find people that would work with 30 etc. Because what happens is then like I was slow to then bring out a second collection because I was like, I want to sell this out first.
Right.
Right. And what you want to be able to do in the beginning phase is sort of get feedback, get things out there as quick as possible. You don't have to do 11 pieces up front. You can start with 3 pieces, get feedback. Next 3 batches, maybe 30 pieces each, get feedback. And then
Yeah.
sort of like
Okay.
that, you're able to iterate a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's like one thing that I would do. I would say I would also be a bit stricter with like the positioning of the brand. So I would say we've gone through, and that's why we rebranded. Like I
Yeah.
was like, should I be lower? Should I be mid? Should I be upper class? And so sort of being a bit more like clear on your brand identity, I think is important. And when you're building a brand, a consumer brand, people should like see the brand and sort of know what are you guys? You're not just a jewelry brand, you're a jewelry brand that likes maybe for bolder people or for
Mm-hmm.
culturally conscious people or for fashion girls or sort of a clearer sense of brand
Good.
identity, I think is critical. What else would I say that I would change from my first year? So yeah, I think those are like two really important things that I would maybe do. Yeah, I think the things that helped me were having processes in place. So it's not something I would do differently. I would just continue to do that and even
Yeah.
do that more.
Better.
Is
Yeah.
have processes in place. Everybody needs to know that's working when you know what they're doing every single day, right? So just having that because I started it when I was in Dubai and we were shipping in Lagos, and so sort of had to put processes in place because I couldn't do the order. So there was a process of taking orders and doing that. So I would say putting processes in place, I think is really important. I have been running it with my 9 to 5. I don't think it's for everybody, but I don't necessarily think everybody is cut out to just leave their job and start their business. I don't know why that's a
Agree.
mindset, but I just feel like when you have a bit more cash flow, there's a bit of flexibility. I wasn't like immediately like, oh, I must make money that I'm eating. Every money that's coming in is going back into the business. And even till today,
Mm.
everything still goes back into the business. So you're sort of prioritizing the business over your personal needs, right? So if that's all you're relying on and you need to eat. You may take all the money and eat, and then you sort of don't have anything to keep the business growing, right? So you need to be able to reinvest your profits. And so I'll say those are two things I'll keep. And then the third thing that I didn't do that now just came to mind is like doing a bit of a market sizing exercise. And so
Mm.
you can identify how many people can um take this or can buy this product or service at what price point. And it sort of helps you manage your expectation, right? Because
Mhm.
if you're in a market like Nigeria and you do a market sizing exercise, you will quickly realize that the market is so much smaller than in the
Right.
US or the UK. So you will not be comparing yourself to people that started 2 years ago that are in the US or in the UK because it's a completely different
Different
market.
markets.
And then
Yeah.
it can help you identify, do you want to launch in Nigeria or do you want to launch in the UK, right? And sort of based on the market sizing and people's ability and willingness to pay for what you're serving. So yeah.
Wow, those are such good
Mm,
points. I was literally making it. Those
mm.
are really, really, really good points because I think MOQ is a very, important one because when you first start, you're like, everybody's going to buy it. This is such a kitty car. You're ready to go. And like you said, you end up tying up so much cash in your product when you can probably use that cash, a bit of that cash that is in your product to have done better marketing or more marketing
Or more
stuff.
products or newer products that people actually want, right? So you do
Exactly.
11 products and you realize, people are only buying two. You should be
Mm-hmm.
doing another version of those two,
True.
right?
That's so
Than forcing people to buy the remaining nine.
the forcing is killing, please. But that's so true. Like, I think a lot of times people like, and it's good to start off your business, believing that everything, can be sold and will be sold. But sometimes, like you said, if you check the market or check the things that people like, maybe product three is not what's banging compared to product one,
Mhm.
right? And how can you change product one in a more classier way, right, for it to get more sales. So that was
Mhm.
really good. And what
Mhm.
you said as well about processes, that's another thing that, stops businesses from thriving year on year out. If I think about generational wealth, generational impact, legacy, etc., the level of your process is the level of your failure or success in the business. Like if you lack processes, if you lack structure, if you lack um just a standard that your business operates on, then it affects the business in the long run. So it's not just, oh, I'm a believer, God sent me, he will back me. Girl, get it together and put
Yeah.
some systems in place that will
Yeah.
actually benefit your business in
Yeah.
the long run, right? Because a lot of times people are like, ah, God said that you would do this, that by this, da 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 da, and by next year I'll be this. And I love that. I love that for you. I love that, you're standing on the word of God, but the word of God plus structures or the word of God plus
Yeah.
processes.
Plus wisdom that he has given to men, which you can
Yeah.
learn from, right?
Yeah.
So it's not you not having faith, because like I said, faith is like the foundational thing I believe in. It's like leveraging the wisdom of the world in the sense of the people that he has given this wisdom. So there are different
Mhm.
people in business that can share sort of these sort of insights that you can learn from beyond, oh, God said you should start this business and this business would be that, right? Because you see in parts and you hear in parts, like truly. And so I think that mindset with faith is important as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, and I'm trying to link it to my other question. What is something that people usually misunderstand, you know, starting a business? Like, yeah, what is something that people just generally misunderstand before starting a
Yeah.
business that
Mhm.
are important things to not misunderstand and notes? Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good question. So I'll start off with just what it takes. It takes a lot. Like it actually just takes a lot. Anybody, I don't know. I don't know any entrepreneur that's like business is always easy. I don't
Mm,
think that is it, right? I don't think life is always easy either. So why would
yeah.
business suddenly be always easy? But yeah, I don't think it's constantly easy, right? And so I think going with that mindset that regardless of God saying certain things are true, like God has said, I'm the head and not the tail. Did I not study? Did I not, did I not like do all-nighter when I didn't feel like? So, um, if even if God has said it, it's just knowing that the journey requires some form of, like I said, resilience, right?
Mm,
If it says 80% or almost 80%, over 80% of businesses fail in their first year,
first year,
right?
yeah.
So if you put that into context, like it means that like there's a level of consistency that must be required to see things through. And that's something that I often see people make mistakes in. You
Mm,
have this today, you start, tomorrow you're doing another thing, another day you're doing another thing. Like see things through,
mm,
try and see things through. Don't stop because it's not working out immediately. You may need to plug in something new, you may need to change
mm,
something new, right? So I think that ability to play that long-term game and sit with it is something that I think your audience probably would need to hone in
oh.
on. Yeah, like just see things through. Try and just I'm going to see it through. I'm going to see it through. I'm going to until push comes to shove and you sense that it's not something that you're meant to do, right? And so yeah, I think that's one big mistake I see. Sort of
Yeah,
starting and stopping when it just looks a little bit the slightest inconvenience, right? And yeah, so I think that's like one key thing. What other big mistake? Um, I think in the broader business sense, so not just even product businesses, it's sort of general businesses. So obviously in my 9 to 5, I invest in like tech businesses. And I
hmm,
think in that sense, one is we call it a moat. Your moat is like what makes you defensible in the market. It makes you differentiated in the market. I think that's something that's important to like think about and like identify and like differentiate yourself with, because in today's world, starting a business is very easy. Actually, it doesn't take much. In Nigeria, like you don't even need to register. You can actually just start. You don't even need an account. Like so, starting a business today is so easy, and the competition
Yeah.
is so much higher. And I think having a clear sort of what makes me different
Hmm.
is important to think about. There are some businesses that like you just sell water, that's fine. But when you're trying to sort of do like I guess an innovative business, you need
Yep.
to think about your moat. Be sure of your moat. Study your market, study your competition. Like don't be like, yeah, there's a competition because I'm God's chosen. No, there is very much competition that you should be aware of and you
Yeah.
need to sort of build a strategy around. That's why they're like that's why people do strategy. It's sort of
Mhm.
how do you differentiate yourself in like a convoluted in like in a sorry in a crowded
Competitive
market.
market. Yeah.
And so I think that's something I don't find people do. You just sort of have an idea and you start, which is good, but sort of spending a bit more time, just do it. You can do a pitch deck, not to raise money, but
Mm.
to identify what your business is. So what's your vision? Where are you
Yes.
going to? How are you different from your competition? Because those are all slides in a pitch deck, right? Where do you want to be in sort of 5 years? What does your team composition look like? And then you can then identify, actually, we're all creatives. There's no analytical or finance person here, right? So when you do that exercise of almost building a pitch deck, not to raise, but to actually like be able to tell your story, I think it will really save you time, right? If I did that exercise, refining would have been differentiated from the beginning, right?
Wow.
It wouldn't have
Yeah.
started off as just regular hoops. I would have been like, actually, no, hoops is not a regular round hoop for where for the vision, right, of the
Hmm.
business isn't fine. But when the vision doesn't match the product, then there's an issue, right? And so yeah.
Yeah, that's very good. That's actually very good because, yeah, my second question is actually how would you, differentiate yourself in a competitive market? And that's it there, like having a strong brand identity, having a strong, you know, like what actually differentiates you? Like you
Whether
said,
it's
break it down.
features, whether it's products, whether it's price points, there are different things that can differentiate you beyond like a brand identity. Brand identity works in like fashion. But in
Mm,
like fintech, whether you have a brand identity that is different or not, it doesn't nobody cares. It needs to be the speed of transactions. It needs to be actual like features,
right.
right? And so like that's an exercise that requires a bit of time. It may require a couple of people to sit down with you and like develop that. And I think
Mhm.
spending time doing that in the beginning, not like you don't need to do a whole year of that, but spending some time doing that helps.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, this has been really good. I feel like it has turned into business advice, which I love. I love and I very much appreciate because yeah, it's so needed. I think that's what is I think that's what I love about the season. Everybody is bringing like their different things into it. So the person I interviewed before you, she's a creative, and the things she talks about are very different to what you're talking about because of obviously your background, which I love. Um, but yeah, there's another question that's coming to mind in terms of building a team. I feel like I'm just even asking my own personal questions right now, but yeah, whatever. In terms of building a team, right? Um how do you balance, I guess, grace and accountability? Because your team is basically the face of your brand. Like your team is a representative of who you are. And if you're trying to build a brand that outplays its competitors, then your team needs to be a very solid team,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, starting up, you're probably not have enough money at your disposal to go and get a massive team, like you said, maybe have an assistant here, whatever. But how do you then balance grace and accountability? And the second question would be, how do you make sure that your vision is very much implanted in the mind of your team?
Yeah, really good question. Really good question. I think team, I think to be honest, being very real, that's been one of my biggest struggles.
Mm,
Every season, to be fair. And when I say struggles, it's not that like I think every season God has blessed me with a good team every season, but it's evolved. Um, and
I,
I like consistency. I don't do very well with like working with one person in 1 month, another person. Like I just don't really do well with things like that. I love like just consistently like working with the same person if I can for
Hmm. Hmm.
4 years. But that hasn't been my reality. Yeah, I think team has been, like you said, it's the lifeline of the business. And in the
Yeah,
early stage of your business, your team is like honestly the most important, like one of the most important things, because they are the ones that would push on the hard days. They are the ones that would like take initiative, right? Because
exactly. Yeah.
you're not you can't do everything, right?
Mhm.
And I would say what you said is valid because in the beginning, you don't have the capital to hire the best marketing manager. You don't have the capital to hire the best operations person. So I had to start off with like interns, or like sort of post uni, in uni, just post secondary school sort of staff, right? And the challenge with that is like it's really great and I really appreciate genuinely. I don't think we could have been there where we are without those people because
Without,
they
yeah.
had faith. They really believed in
Mhm.
refining and that love for refining, like I saw that come through. And I think that that's helpful where you financially may not be able to give them the best, right? That like desire to just bring this thing to life is helpful.
Right.
The challenge
Yeah.
with that is that they want to have the level of training that you need, right? They don't have the level of work experience, right? And for
Hmm.
someone like me that has worked in very high-paced environments, right? And in different sort of work cultures and different work people, and very like fast-paced of work, um, it doesn't always blend,
I get what you
right? Because
mean.
in my head, I'm used to working in an environment where a deck can be done in 1 hour, but for you and me, you may need a day,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not sort of used to, and so that's where that grace aspect, like you said, to your
Mm-hmm.
question, has to sort of come in, and the ability to train people. And I would say when I first started, I was a bit more like I was a bit more able to train, but right now my schedule doesn't give me the time
That
to
flexibility. Yeah.
start training someone that just graduated from uni. And so now I don't hire people without experience. I don't hire people that are not almost full time anymore. I
Hmm.
don't, and that's because of where we are in the business. Before
Yeah.
we could do it like, yeah, one of, but when you're growing and I guess you want to continue to grow at a decent speed, you may need a bit more commitment, you need a bit more experience. I want you to be better at me than better than me at what you're doing, right?
Certain things.
I
Yes.
can't
Yes. Yes.
I can't have people that don't have that level of experience. And so I would say, uh, yeah, I think team for me, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still also accepting that team members are in phases, right? Like the person that took you from 0 to 1 is not the same person that can take you to one to five. It's not the same person that's going to take you from 5 to 10. It's facts. Like it's not
100%.
sentimental. It's not a big deal. It's just facts, right? They just, it's just a different level of competence and experience that's
Hmm.
required. And so I think one lesson I would say is being quicker to let go of certain people and being slower to hire. And you hear this a lot, but it's true. Like I struggle with letting people go. I really struggle. Like I can see you're literally like fumbling, and I'll still like keep talking and talking and talking, and then like eventually it just becomes a situation where it clearly doesn't work, right? But I think
Hmm.
one of the lessons I would say is like if it's not working, have a conversation, give it a fixed time period for people to change, and if it doesn't change just literally like let them go. And so I'm not good at letting people go at all. And I think, yeah, I don't know if it's a Christianese, I don't know where it comes from, but it's just like when I tell like certain people, obviously the people I talk to about business a lot more than
Yeah.
others, they're just why are you dealing with
How are you
this?
dealing with
I
this?
don't know. I don't know why I'm dealing with this, right? And so getting to the mindset that business is business and like friendship is friendship and like being a mentor, whatever is being like it's separate, right? And it's something that I am coming to terms with. I guess my sort of um I don't know if it's personality traits or what it is. I struggle with that. Like my sister, on the other hand, bruh, that girl, she's like insane, right? And like doing things like this, right? So she's like
Mm.
insanely good, I mean, right? Like and it works for her. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say I think I will spend more time. And I do that now. I think the one I do better now is sort of being slower to hire. So I would go through like multiple
Mm.
assessment steps. So you're not just gonna have a first interview, you're probably gonna have like four interviews. And you're
Right.
wondering, this is just like a regular, like it's not management consulting or investment banking or
Oh,
training
how
people,
many more stages?
right?
Yeah.
But
Was
yeah, I think
needed.
that level, and I think I guess my consulting background has sort of given me that how to like sort of hire. So I think I sort of yeah, I think that that is a summary of what I would say.
Yeah.
And I think the other aspect of your question is like the vision, like getting people to know the vision. And so you could have like quarterly meetings where you
Mm.
re-engage on the vision, get feedback on like what's not going well, have sort of KPIs in place that other team members are following. So these are stuff that I started implementing last year. And like everybody's like, okay, we're this brand, we're this brand. And when people like I'm really like DM replies and stuff like that, the amount of times I'm like, delete that and change it. That's not how we speak. Like I do that myself. Like that's not the I don't reply DMs, but I like see them come through. And sometimes I check it. I'm like, why are we talking in that manner? We don't speak that like, that's not our culture. Right. So Nigerians are used to sort of, oh, do you have this? Yes, we have it. Like, don't like say good morning and with a
Yeah.
be warm. So I always say we need to be warm. If I'm warm, my brand must also have that. If I want the brand identity to have a warm feel, let's stay with that, right?
Yeah,
Don't
that's so
change
good.
the lingo, right? And so that requires training because not everybody is like that. And so yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like, I can definitely relate to I can relate to what you're saying on different levels because I think I'm also in consulting. So I do work in 9 to 5 and I'm also trying to build something on the side as well, obviously alongside the podcast and many other things that I'm trying to do. So I feel like I can relate in the sense that I see because of that consulting mindset, things get done very quickly. This is the deadline. This is what we need to do. Your manager can message you by 10, wanting something by 4. That's just how it works. It's not like, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't have the brain capacity. Can you cook it? No. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. And also bringing in that 9 to 5 experience and then starting a business. I have too many thoughts in my mind. First thing I want to say is I think everybody should work a 9 to 5 before actually starting their own business. That's one. That's my own opinion, Sha. But then I can relate in the sense that like there's a certain way and standard that you're used to because of what your 9 to 5 has created or because of the environment your 9 to 5 has created around you that you all that as a founder that has that experience you want to replicate in your own business. So yeah, I can definitely relate on that basis that sometimes you hold on to people longer than they actually need to be here just because of the sentiment around it. But if you're talking about business, this is our business standard and these are business facts. You're operating on this level. I'm so sorry, we cannot continue, etc. etc. So yeah, I definitely relate in terms of like still learning how to balance, you know, creating a team and creating a team that is evolving with the vision one, but also creating a team that that is at the stand that I want it to be or I require it to be. But yeah, that's what I wanted to see on the side. I guess my last and final question is what are some warning signs that you think founders should not ignore?
Warning signs with people, with business, or just
Ooh, that's a good one. I think you can give maybe one for each with people and also with like your business in general.
so with people is excuses for me.
Yeah.
Excuses. Yeah, you can always have an excuse. Trust me, even me, I can have an excuse. There's always a reason why, I can't do a certain thing that day, whether it's my head is spinning me, whether it's my stomach is spinning me, whether it's I'm tired, whether it's I'm overwhelmed, whether it's I have anxiety. Like, ex
Mhm.
once I see you're giving excuses like often and not taking accountability of like inaction, then I don't think we're the right fit. Because for me, I work with people that can see hurdles and sort of jump through those hurdles, can have sort of and I'm not trying to be what's the word?
Not
Not
sympathetic.
emotionally not sympathetic, but trust me, like when I like yeah, is a thing my friends and I always like excuse was so I don't want to hear excuses. Like I'm just okay. Trust me, even this thing that is
Yeah,
bothering me, you know,
yeah.
the anxiety you had today, I had today too.
Hmm.
And I got with it and I got fine. And by the end of the day, I was fine, right? So
Yeah.
I can't stand excuses really. More like obviously once in a while there would always be, but every day one issue or the other, nah, like it's just not the right fit.
Hmm.
Um, People can like fumble once in a while, but I think yeah, that consistency, just end the relationship, right? Then I think the one on business sort of red flag is, I don't know if it's red flag, but if people are not willing to buy or pay for what you're offering, then it's questionable. Is this truly what people need? Is the price point at a price point what people need? And sort of being quick to iterate. I always use the word iterate, like being quick to iterate and change and being flexible and nimble to the market demand, right? Sort of global conglomerates or global corporations that have stood the test of time, they've had to even be nimble with their 3,000 team size.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you with like three people should also be flexible enough to be nimble. And so, yeah, I think when people aren't paying for what you are doing, like it's a sign, it's a sign, and you just need to look into it to see what the source of the sign is.
Yeah, that's so good. Um, I think for me, I can definitely relate to that as well. Like in terms of, you know, excuses. But then there was something that came to mind. There is a differentiator between people that do things and get things done, have that resilient mindset, like you said. Like that is the differentiator between people that say they're going to do things versus people that do things and get them done well. So it makes sense that excuses is not something that you would like or you can stand because you're a go and get it done kind of girl. Like, yeah, go and get it done. Like, I don't, my emotions might be like this today, but there are things that need to be done, and that's just how it needs to be. Like, that idea of, oh, because I'm a woman, I can be too emotional. Yes, we can be emotional in certain things, but sometimes when it comes to business, that emotional aspect just, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
it
feel
just
like
needs to jump out the window.
yeah, feelings are so fickle. They're so fickle.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like once people can realize that this thing you're feeling, it's fake. It's almost fake. I can't like, people say, oh, if they say I feel this way, you should take it. I don't, your feelings don't make sense all the time. And once you get that
So
unlock,
true.
once you get that unlock, I feel like that's one of the things that would like really see a person through. Like it gives that
Mhm.
resilience and it gives that ability to be disciplined because I don't feel like I don't feel like waking up early, right? I don't feel like, you know, doing a lot of things, but I do it, right? And
Yeah.
I wasn't happy maybe yesterday. This is not like real. I'm just saying, okay, you were not happy yesterday, but do you know that by the end of the day, you'll be fine? Like my friends and I, we always laugh about it. Like, "Ah, my day started like this, but by the end of the day, it ended fine, right? So the
Yeah.
ability to get those feelings on, like, like, and if we say we're spiritual, right? Trust me, when you're doing anything good, there's a roaring enemy, right? That doesn't want you to see things through. So
True.
that light thoughts, cancel that out and push through with the word of God.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that you need to get your feelings managed, do it. Whether it's like
Manage it and
when I
keep
work, I
going.
listen to a lot of instrumental worship. Right, that's what helps me when I wake up, when I sleep, worship is my thing, right? That's what helped me like to stay, all of that, right? So find what works for you, and use it every day. It's not going to be one day that you're like, you will never need to use it. Keep using it every day and sort of just get that mindset that your feelings are so fickle. Like, Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. No,
You
what's
ask
coming to mind?
something, like you will regret it, trust me, you will. I've been there and done that. You will actually regret it when you act.
Yeah.
You can't take certain actions back, right? Certain permanent
Mm.
actions back. And so like being a person that like, thinks before you act, thinks before you talk, thinks before you let your feelings sort of get in the way, right? That emotional stability is something that I don't know what's going on, but like it's a Christian thing. I don't know what it is, that emotional stability, and God should give you that. So I don't understand that lack of emotional stability. It's not from God. And so, yeah, I think sort of fighting against that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really good. When you were speaking, it was the meme that came to mind. That means they go and get his baby. Like that means you're jamming baby. You just have to go and get it. That's really the moral of the story. You cannot be, I think, and I relate, I feel like I relate with you on so many levels with that. Sometimes you just have to put your head on the swivel and keep going. There's no time to be thinking about, oh, I'm feeling like this today, or I'm like Gen Z, get it together and just stand up.
Sense of
Like,
responsibility is a sense of responsibility. I always say it is a sense of duty. It's a sense of honor to God as well. Once you have that mindset, okay, you're not feeling so good, take your Panadol and you get on with it, right? Obviously, that doesn't mean you don't have rest time. But if you are doing a 9 to 5, you cannot not be feeling good 2 days a week out of the 5 days a week. She gets so trust me.
I definitely understand what you're saying, and I, it's so funny, but I really appreciate this conversation. I think it has, obviously for me, I can't let you guys listen to this podcast. This is even more for me than anybody else. God bless you for listening, but I think I asked my own personal questions today. But yeah, it is really, really helped me because I can relate on so many levels, and I've taken away so many things that are beneficial. There's just a certain level of resilience. There's a certain level of um zeal, there's a certain level of passion, there's a certain level of wisdom that you have to move with to be able to build something with God, one, to be able to build something that lasts, two, to be able to just even stand in this world, three. Like, if we're talking about building something that lasts, we're talking about business, we're talking about longevity, legacy. Everybody likes all these buzzwords, but are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to be disciplined enough? Are you willing to be committed enough? Are you willing to get things done when they need to be done? That's really the truth behind being able to do business, one, just even generally in the world, but then do business with God. That's another added level. You just have to be able to stand up and get things done. So whoever is listening when this episode comes out, just get things done. Like, you've made too many excuses and you need to get a grip, get it together, stand up and keep it moving. But yeah, I really hope that you've taken away a lot of things from today's episode. Dolapo dropped a lot of gems. Do you want to say something?
There's one thing I wanted to say, and I've now lost the train,
Oh gosh.
but it was urgent. There were actually two things. The first thing I wanted to say, I don't know if you put this before your wrap up,
Oh no, yeah, I can do it, or anyone as I feel.
but was just around like, you speak a lot about legacy, and I think like it's also important to identify where, like, okay, maybe you don't have that skill. It might not actually just be getting up and doing anything. Like, it may just you're
Mm,
not the person and you can't do it, right? And I think getting assistance or getting people that might be better at you, whether it's a partnership you enter, you give them
good.
form of equity. I think it's always important to identify that, because sometimes people are actually trying, it's not working out,
Mm,
it's not working out, it's not working out. You're doing your best. Maybe you're not the best person for um that role, or you need a partner, right? In the
right.
industry I work with, tech. partnerships is a common thing, and it's always helpful because on days where like it's difficult, the other person is able to almost sort of lift you up in that sense. And if you don't have that within your business, at least you can have that within your friendship group. So I like how you guys have that accountability sort of circle. But like all my friends, like I don't have a friend that's like in terms of very close friend that's like overly chill. I don't really have those sort of people around me, and so that also motivates me, right? Having like whether it's a even a relationship, right, of people that just believe in you, right? And they're like, if you say you can't do it, you can't do it. And then they follow up and they follow through and they're asking you questions about it and seeing you through, because yeah, like of course, try your best, but like it's not always easy doing it on your own. So sort of surrounding yourself with the right people, whether it's in work settings, in friendships, and things like that, and being intentional. Like you cannot be around certain types of people, right? And I know that there's certain types of people that I'm around that have like pushed me forward, or maybe I hear, this person got this opportunity, this sort of thing, like and they always say that your network is your sort of your net worth. I think it's so true. So if and it's not everybody that's going to be a business owner, right? Some people are going to be very successful in their 9 to 5. Some people are going to be very successful in whatever it is that they're doing, music, right? Or whatever. But surrounding yourselves with like-minded people, because as Christians, you have, if you believe like you're a son of Issachar, you have an idea of your future. You have people would have told you. You have a sense of where you're going to. Surround yourself with those sorts of people, older people that have done that before you, right? Like I have mentors that are like, well, I was telling my auntie the other day, auntie, I'm so tired. She was like, are you not supposed to be tired at 30? What are you supposed to be doing? I was like, yeah. I thought she was going to be sympathetic with me, right? And this is someone that has done what I want to do, right? So surrounding yourself, and I'm in the because there's some people that I tell, I'm tired, they're like, just take a 1 month break. She's like, eh? So surrounding yourself with like those sorts
That
of like
balance, yeah.
minded like-minded people, I think is absolutely critical, right? And it will really like push you on the difficult days, because like I said, there would be um difficult days. So yeah, that's sort of the main thing that I wanted to like I guess contextualize so it doesn't sound too one-sided.
Yes, no, thank you for definitely bringing that balance in. Yeah, for sure, because I do agree. Sometimes you are actually pushing yourself and it's just not working. And maybe you need to bring in a strategist or you need to bring in someone who's really good at
Co-founder.
operations and you're
Yeah.
not. Yeah, co-founder. Yeah, all of those things, right? Um, and yeah, and other times it's just you need to stand up. So whichever shoe fits, please pick. So we're not too one-sided. But yeah, thank you, Dolapo, for bringing in that balance and that perspective. But I hope everyone has really enjoyed this episode. Comment down below. I enjoyed it. I think like I said, it was a conversation for me and Dolapo. Not gonna lie, you guys just sat in and listened. But yeah, if you're starting a business, or you might not even necessarily be starting a business, you want to do something, you're doing a project, and there are things here that apply to what you want to do, please take away something. Um, and that is it for me. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it. And I've enjoyed this conversation. It was very chilled, very classy, and I loved it. Not too much gra, but the information was passed across as needed. So thank you so so much for spending this time. I think it's been an hour or more than even an hour. So this time with us, and I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you for your words of wisdom. And yeah, that's it from us. I'll just pray us out. Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come and share and bring wisdom to your children, even wisdom for us to take away. We thank you for this opportunity to have conversation. And we pray, Lord, that these words would touch hearts, these words would motivate people, these words would, strike a chord in people's hearts to do things that you have asked them to do timely, well, promptly, with resilience and with zeal in Jesus' name. And we just thank you for the impact of this word on the hearts of people. And yeah, all glory and honor be unto your holy name. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yo.